Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Jeff Crowley. I'm one of the facilitators here. And welcome to the presentation by Hope College in Holland, Michigan. They'll tell you all about it. A couple of ground rules. You are muted and you are also video off. So you're just basically listening this evening. There is a Q&A button towards the bottom of your screen if you would like to type in questions that can be answered either during the presentation or perhaps afterwards. If it's not answered during it, trust me, they do get them, and I'm sure they will answer them at the appropriate time. So without further ado, let me turn it over to the team at Hope College.
Thanks, Jeff. Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you taking the time this evening to kind of figure out what Hope College is all about. My name is David Brady. I am one of the admissions reps at Hope. I handle the state of Minnesota, the state of Wisconsin, and then certainly some other territories in Michigan. I'm not a graduate of Hope College, but all four of my kids have gone to Hope College. You say, well, of course they went to Hope College because you work there. Well, that's not the case. I didn't start working at Hope until after my third was at Hope College, and my youngest just graduated in May. So I've got a lot of experience from a parent side of things, what my kids experience, but Hope is an unbelievable place, and hopefully through these next 45 minutes, you're gonna find out why it's such a great place. I'll let my colleague, Danae, introduce herself and kind of tell a little bit about her story and what she has to share with us tonight. Danae.
Yes, so I'm Danae Frost. I am a Hope grad. So I graduated from Hope in 2016 and I studied business, and I started in admissions 2 months later. So I work with students from Ann Arbor, Metro Detroit, and Florida. I've also worked with Texas and the East Coast. So I've worked with, similar to David, a lot of students that both look at Hope from a perspective of being a couple of hours from home, but also a few states away from home. And so that is something that we get a lot of joy in, is working with students from both the state of Michigan and outside of it. I'm sure some of you are from Michigan, you've heard of Hope, you know Holland, and a lot of you might be from out of state and know that both of you can easily find a community and a place at Hope and in Holland for sure. So, and
yeah, go ahead, Danae.
Oh, I was just gonna say, something for both David and I that we love is really, we want this to be an interactive presentation. Obviously, this is our job. We can talk about Hope for days. So easily we can fill 45 minutes, but we do want to feel like this is a productive use of your time. So please feel free to use that Q&A feature and make sure that you feel like you're getting the information out of this that you want.
Great. Now listen, just to start out with, one of the things I want to do is we're going to share with you a video. So it's Hope College by the Air. Now, Danae will agree with me. If you come, and I certainly hope you come and visit Hope College. And I guess that, you know, our goal tonight is that as we talk about Hope and what we say about Hope is that you kind of say, that's an option for me, and I've got to go visit. I will guarantee you, I'm sure Danae will guarantee you that if you come, you will love campus. It is gorgeous. It is set in this beautiful community of Holland, Holland, Michigan. So I will guarantee you, you will love it. Now, does that mean it's the right place for you? No. You still got to vet it, and you still got to figure out other things, but guarantee you in regards to if you're looking for this college, you know, atmosphere, this, the grounds, just the grass, all those things that, again, any brochure that you can pick up that says, wow, this is a great place. So let me just show you a little blurb, about a minute video. This will obviously kind of give you an idea of what campus looks like, and then we'll tell you a little bit more about where it is located. So let me share my screen here as well as with the computer sound. So there we go. that is Hope College and from the air. So hold on, let me get back to here.
And so if you are not from the state of Michigan and are wondering, oh, where is Holland in the state? Obviously, we all like to be obnoxious and use our hands. So Holland is located on the west side of the state. So we're about 2.5 hours from Detroit and Chicago. And we are a 5 or 6 minute drive from Lake Michigan. And our campus is situated literally next to downtown Holland. And so what's great about that is that students really have the opportunity to build a community within campus, to get to know their professors. Obviously, with CTCL, students are looking at small liberal arts colleges. They are looking for an intimate community where they will know professors and their students. But something that is really unique about Hope is our relationship to downtown Holland. To be able to walk to coffee shops and restaurants and the farmers market and all of that sort of stuff, you really get a feeling of being a part of a bigger community. It's not far to get anywhere else that you might need, but nice to be able to have all of that within walking distance, to be able to feel like a real college town in and amongst right where you're taking your classes. And if you want to go to church in the community or anything like that too, it's really accessible for Hope students.
Today, I had music playing in the background there, so I don't know what you were saying. So
no worries.
Please share with me.
I was just talking about where Hope is located in Holland and where Holland is in the state. So Lake Michigan, okay. Downtown, all of that sort
Very
of
good.
stuff.
All right. Well, let's kind of go over, Hope Private Christian Liberal Arts School. Obviously, we're a liberal arts school because this is part of colleges that change lives, and every CTCL school is a liberal arts school. So we're 3,000 students. So we bring in typically a class of about 800 students every year. That's our focus. That's our goal. We feel with the size, at least the 77 acres of campus that we have, that 3,000 students is a good number. We're not looking to get any bigger than that. We certainly don't want to get any smaller than that either. And we're thankful that this year we brought in a freshman class of 787 students, which in the midst of this COVID environment, that was a challenge. But again, students really saw what Hope College brought to the table in regards to what it has to offer, the value that it is, all right? So 80 plus different majors, minors. Some of the things that I think are kind of unique about Hope as far as being a liberal arts school is that, we're heavy in the sciences. And not all liberal arts schools are that way. One of the greatest things that you can do in Hope College is be part of research. There's a very collaborative effort between faculty and students. And again, all research, because we're an undergraduate school, is done by faculty, professors, and undergrad students. So as a freshman, you want to get involved in that, you can. Hope is actually ranked number 23rd in the nation for undergraduate research. And so lots of different ways that you get involved in that. As a freshman coming in, there are programs called Day One programs, which are kind of intentional living research communities, where again, you can be part of that for your whole freshman year. So great opportunities from that standpoint, but chemistry, biology, psychology, but business, and we've got nursing, and we have engineering, but very, very, very strong programs that I think that you would really love, obviously depending upon what you want to get into in regards to your major that you want to study at Hope College.
And something that I loved about my academic experience at Hope is feeling the way in which I was able to not only have obviously the mentorship from professors, but Hope is very intentional with the advising component. So I came to college really academically undecided. I was really intimidated by the amount of students that were planning to study pre-med or engineering. It felt very intimidating to be surrounded by people that were so smart that knew exactly what they wanted. But what I loved is that they kind of even the playing field with every student taking a first year seminar class. That class, the professor is your first academic advisor. And mine is somebody named Jeff Tyler, who teaches in our religion department. And I tell my students is a quintessential stereotypical Santa Claus. Is older, has rosy cheeks, white hair, and is just so kind. And what I loved about that experience in that class is that through that, I would sit down with Dr. Tyler every week. And we would talk about, okay, you don't like the sciences, you're really intimidated by that. What are the areas you're interested in? Oh, you talk about business, psychology, education. I took classes in a lot of different areas. Finally declared business the end of my sophomore year and really felt like that was a good academic fit, but I did not have that known to me when I was 17 or 18. So if you are an undecided student, know that at Hope that is okay. We consider every student undecided coming in. Obviously, if you know you're going to be an engineer, you want that, you will take intro to engineering in the fall freshman year. But if you don't know what you want, know that that's acceptable too, and that you will have a lot of mentorship in place before you need to declare a major. So for somebody like me who was overwhelmed by picking a major out of 80 different things and really didn't know that you will obviously have the support and mentorship at Hope specifically, especially through that first year seminar class.
And we also have, it's called the Boverter Center for Calling and Career. And so that is kind of the arm of Hope College that helps students navigate through that process of what is that major supposed to be if I don't know what it's, what it should be. And there you can obviously meet with an academic coach. I think one of the greatest things that they do, because maybe some of your students are sitting there and you say, gosh, all my friends have this all figured out. Susie's going to be a pre-med major, and, Johnny's going to be in pre-law, and on and on and on. And one of the things I love about what the Boverter Center does is they bring a group of like maybe 6 or 8 students together, and they start talking about what's that major going to be. And I think the biggest aha moment of that is that students look around and they say, I'm not the only one that doesn't have it figured out. And I think that is really the beauty of, again, the Boverter Center helping students. Now, in addition to helping with majors and minors, but helping with internships, all those types of things happen there. Now, again, it's called the Boverter Center for Calling and Career. So we're a Christian college, so we certainly want to enter into that. If that's kind of the path that you want to follow, where is God calling me in this profession of engineering, as a pre-med student, as a nursing student, as an art major, as a dancer, all those types of things. We certainly, again, want to help you navigate through that, and that's part of the Boverter Center as well. So neat from that. Today, let's just, obviously, we kind of talked about some, programs, majors, things like that. We're a Christian college. Why don't you touch on that and just kind of show or tell students how you get engaged in that environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a Christian college. And so what that means for Hope is that we offer chapel programs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 20 to 25 minutes. And our chapel holds about 1,100 students. In a normal year, in a non-COVID year, that chapel is full Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All of our services are non-denominational, very contemporary, very much designed to meet college students where you are. All of our chapel bands are student-led, they're student-run. David's daughter was actually one of the leaders last year on a worship team. But not only is there chapel, there are Bible studies and immersion trips and really incredible ways for students to plug into their faith life if that's something that they want. It is not prescriptive, it is not required. We are not here to tell you to check a Christian box on your application or when you graduate from Hope, but it is a really vibrant part of our campus. At 17, I wouldn't have known how much I would have loved that as a college student. And something that's really unique too is that I was an RA my sophomore year, and for my residents, it was an all-female residence hall who were freshmen in college. There's 20 of them, and they naturally started their own Bible studies. So we have them through campus ministries, but we also have them a little bit less intentional for students that are really just trying to figure out like, oh, I didn't come to Hope from a faith background, but I'm interested in this, or I'm coming to it from different denominations and really wanting to pursue that relationship or trying to figure out what that means for me now that I'm outside of a home church. Hope does a really great job of meeting students wherever they are in their faith walk. And so it's a vibrant part of our campus, but it is not something that we want students to feel pressure on, to feel it's required or anything like that. And so certainly that is something that is unique about Hope, especially amongst CTCL schools, is being a Christian college. And again, our job tonight is to really try to hopefully get you to campus. Having chapel be virtual, I think, is one of the strangest parts of COVID, of what this process has looked like for Hope. but I've been really impressed. We started our Bible studies and they are doing them all outside. And so that is something we've been really intentional about, even within COVID, is allowing students to find spaces to grow in their faith. So.
Yeah, and I think it's, I'm amazed as well, you know, some students choose to come to Hope College because of that dynamic faith environment. Some students choose to come to Hope College because of the academics and really have no intention of ever really kind of engaging in that. There was it's kind of neat. Every spring, there are 6 seniors that are chosen to be able to kind of give their witness, to give their testimony. My son Connor, who graduated in 2015, was actually chosen to do one of those senior witnesses and just kind of talk about how Hope molded and shaped him as he was there for his 4 years. But there was a young man, Cooper Ciccini, who is a football player, and he was one selected this past spring. And the beautiful thing about Cooper, I actually interviewed him when he came to check out Hope College. And I'll be real honest with you, chapel, God, faith was not even on his radar at all. And he said, the only thing I was after is that on Monday morning, I wanted people to say, hey, he was a football player. And he said, I just wanted people to say, great game, Cooper, great TD, great catches. I was just looking for all the accolades. But somebody invited him as a junior to Athletes in Action. So just one of the groups that meets on campus. And it changed his life. So I think that's kind of some of the opportunities. And again, there's some people that come to Hope College and they never set foot in chapel. And that's okay. Others that I'm coming because there really is this dynamic, vibrant Christian dimension. I really think it's actually a very authentic experience. And it's, you know, you're going to be rubbing shoulders with people of faith, people of no faith, and great conversations come out of that. So it's kind of neat to see that happen within our campus environment. You know, next, I think one of the things I want to talk about is, I don't know where your students are coming from that are obviously on the call tonight. But I think one of the key things that is important about Hope is, you know, I would like to refer to it, we're not a suitcase college. So you might be coming from 20 hours away, you might be coming from 3 hours away, you might be coming from 30 minutes away. But Hope is a place where students stay on campus because there are so many things to do. And as Danae talked about downtown Holland and the big lake and all that right around, but you know, I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is about 35 minutes from driveway to campus. All 4 of my kids went to Hope College. It's interesting, if you ask my wife what's one thing she doesn't like about Hope College, she will say there's too many things that happen on that campus and my kids never come home to see me. So it's a great place because there's always things going on. Now, if you are 6 hours away, 8 hours away, 20 hours away, you're not going home. But know that you are not going to be sitting there on a weekend twiddling your thumbs, being all by yourself, because again, there are lots of things that take place. There's some traditional events that always take place because community is very big at Hope. But in the fall, typically we have the pull. Now the pull would have probably taken place last Saturday or no, right now it would have probably this Saturday, the pull would have taken place. Now the pull is one of the longest collegiate traditions still going today. 123 years it's been happening, and it's a tug of war between the freshman guys and the sophomore guys. So neat, there's 20 on a team, 18 pullers, 2 relievers. You kind of say, well, how come there's just all 20 don't pull at the same time? Well, the pull can go no longer than 3 hours, and it usually goes 3 hours. So you've got to get off the rope and get a break, but it's just a neat event. Hopefully you'll be able to experience it someday. There's Nykirk, which is a big event between the freshman girls and sophomore girls. 3 elements to that, but again, it's all designed to bring the community together, because I think that's one of the elements of Hope that makes it what it is. The relationships that you will form, the relationships that will be forged through your 4 years that are there by some of these events that take place, plus all the other things that happen. But 2 great traditions on Hope, again, are the Pull and Nykirk. If you want to go on YouTube and Hope College the Pull, watch about a 3-minute video and you'll kind of get an idea of what it's all about. So it's kind of neat from that standpoint, but lots of those things are happening on campus.
And something that I loved, especially that David just touched on, is not only the community element, but even within Pull and Nykirk, they are really designed to get underclassmen connected to upperclassmen. So freshmen and sophomore compete, juniors and seniors coach the teams. I was getting dinner with a group of my first year students on campus last week, and they were telling me actually about how, because Pole and Nykirk will be happening virtually, but Pole is canceled this year, that now we are doing, I forget what the acronym stands for, but they're essentially community mentorship groups. So even outside of Bible studies, where students could fill out a Google Doc saying, oh, I'm interested in getting to know students of other grade levels, especially for first year students, to get to know more students on campus. And so it's typically a group of 5 or 6 students of all different grade levels that is designed to like get dinner together once a week, or go for a walk, or do intentional community building, even in a time of COVID, which I think is incredible for students, that we might be missing out on some of those bigger events, but at the core, the reason Hope students pick Hope, the reason Hope students want to stay on campus as long as they can right now, is because of this community that is so unique, that being 3,200 students, you will walk through campus and you will see your friends, and you will be able to say hi. You'll be likely as a senior to have classes with a lot of your friends. But I was shocked when I graduated from Hope and we went to graduation rehearsal, and I literally did not ever recognize the person to my left or to my right. And I was really social. I was one of those students. I was really involved in the community. They were both pre-med majors. And again, sciences are not my thing, but I loved that. I loved that Hope was still big enough. I didn't know everybody the day I graduated. And so if that's the kind of community you're looking for, where it will feel small, you will know community, you will know your professors, but still big enough that going into spring senior year, there will be new things for you to do and new people to meet. That is really what the size of Hope feels like for most students.
I think too, Danae, one of the things why community is pretty consistent at Hope is, well, just to let you know, you're required to be in some form of campus housing through your junior year. Now, some of you are probably saying, you mean I have to live in a residential hall for 3 years? You got to be kidding me. I'm not going to do that. There are different ways and different housing options for you. Now, typically, yes, every freshman that comes in, you're going to be in a residential hall, and we've got 11 of those. So there's 7 co-ed. And that's either by floor or wing, just depends upon how the building is. There's 3 all female, there's 1 all male. Now they range in size from 38 to 300. So lots of different options. One building is more of a suite style. But again, so freshmen live, again, in residential halls when they're coming in. Now, some sophomores choose to stay in residential halls. I think Danae was in for the first 2 years. Third year, I think you went out to a cottage and you kind of said, maybe I would have stayed in a residential hall, because it was just, community was right there. But some of our sophomores, certainly a lot of our juniors, will move out into what are called cottages. So Hope owns about 70 houses that are right on campus. And so at that point, you're living with 3 of your friends, 8 of your friends, just depends upon how big that house is. Now we've got some apartments, we've got Cook Village. My daughter Anna actually this past year lived on 8th Street. So that's downtown Holland. And she lived in apartments above some of the boutique stores that were there. Again, and that's campus housing. So lots of different options for you. But back to why community continues to thrive at Hope is because 99% of the students that go to Hope College live and reside right there at Hope College. And so it just fosters this continual community that year after year, you're going to continue to add friends, you're going to meet new people, and they might be in your same grade. They might be 1 grade above you, they might be 1 grade below you. But again, it's just, there's this community feeling. And I think part of that is, again, because our students are required to stay, through their junior year, and even a lot of seniors still stay in campus housing. So all of my 4 kids, all 3 of them stayed in campus housing all 4 years. So it's your choice what you want to do there. But I mean, community. If that's something that's important to you in regards to your college experience, you have got to come check out Hope College, because I think you'll see that when you are on campus of what that community is all about. Now, just a reminder, if you do have questions, you can certainly put that in that Q&A area. So again, if we've talked about something or we haven't touched on something yet, please make sure you type it in there and we will certainly answer it. Danae, what's next?
Oh man. So for you as a parent, when you were going through this process, what is a piece of advice that you would give to parents that might be watching that you're like, hey, like, obviously with CTCL, you're probably really looking at small liberal arts schools. They're going to get that small intentional classroom experience a lot of places. What makes Hope different than that?
Yeah, I think, I really have to say, location, beauty of a campus. I think the Christian environment's very important. I come from a Christian background. That was important to our family. And so it was nice to have that component there as well. When we were going through, and I'm sure at lots of small schools, you have this ability to have this connection with professors. And it was nice because now, granted, I lived 35 minutes from campus and I wasn't working there, but when I was out on campus with my kids and stuff, I met some of their professors. And I think that's important. So, parents, if you're going out and you are visiting colleges with your kids, ask questions. Yes, this is about your son and daughter, but just make sure this is a good place where they're going to be. And I think probably one of the biggest things, I remember sitting in that room and hearing one of our colleagues that still works there, who were my kids' admissions rep, and said, LJ's, which is right kitty corner from here, coffee shop. I can't believe how many times that, I go in there and I see professors talking to students, and, students are going to their professor's house for dinner. And I'm like, you are just giving me a sales pitch, and that does not happen. At Hope College, that happens. I am amazed at how professors engaged in my kids' lives. Actually, one professor flew with my oldest daughter, who actually, she graduated, worked in special education for a year, wanted to master the Spanish language. So how do you do that? You go to a foreign country that speaks Spanish. And she called back to the department chair, John Yelding, and said, I don't know how to do this, but I want to go to Mexico and I want to teach. Help me. And he actually flew with her on his dime to Mexico to check it out. Now, 6 years after she's graduated, she's still friends with John Yelding. They had dinner about 6 weeks ago. So those are the things that I think, as I saw in my kids' lives, made a big difference. And that's why, again, I think small colleges are great, because our professors, they don't just want to know what you're doing in these 4 years that you spend in Holland, Michigan. They want to know 10 years down the road, what are you doing? What have you done in the time that I've invested in you? So I think that's important to be there. I think it's important to be on campus more than one time. That might be tough this year with COVID, as far as being able to do some of those things. But if you can visit a place 1, 2, 3 times, the more you're there, the more you're going to experience, and you're going to see that, gosh, I did see that last time, and wow, I think I really like this place. But it's a place where the dean of students knows your son or daughter for good things, not for bad things. Dean of students knew every one of my kids by name personally, and he could tell something about them. And that's kind of, it speaks to me in regards to the integrity of what our staff, what our professors are all about. So that's what I look for as a parent. I just think it was, and talk to your admissions rep. Parents, talk to them, ask them questions, ask them hard questions in regards to, again, what makes this place different. And they'll be, all of our representatives, not all of them went to Hope, many of them did, but they've got great stories.
Something that David just touched on too is probably important, and a question on your minds is this process in the midst of COVID. And so obviously we don't know where you're located, but again, if you get the chance to come and visit Hope, we are open, we are ready and willing to take visitors. That is the best way to get a sense of a campus. Obviously, it is great to hear from David and I, to get our perspectives as people who really love Hope and who work with students and families really individually through this process. But really the best way to get a sense of a college campus is to be there and to ask students questions, to talk to our professors, to meet them individually and say, I'm really interested in pre-med. What does that look like at Hope? I'm interested in business, English, studying abroad. I'm interested in all of these things. How does Hope fit into that picture? I think something that David and I love the most about this job is developing really intentional relationships with students. I try to mirror the relationship I have with my professors still graduating 4 years later with my students, because I want them to feel like, oh, I'm getting the Hope experience even before I pick Hope. And so obviously with COVID, it has thrown a wrench into your plans to visit schools, I'm sure, especially if you are a senior in the midst of the application process, stressing about ACT, SAT. But really what David and I would tell you most is to get on these campuses and visit, to write notes down after you visit, because if you're looking at primarily CTCL schools or even Hope and bigger schools, I work with Ann Arbor, a lot of my students are looking at the University of Michigan. There can be some similarities there, and it's really important for you to experience a campus and to meet as many people as you can, talk to as many people as you can, to really get that true sense of what a college campus is. This is our halfway mark, and so far so good. Our students are on campus. They're primarily in in-person classes. They have roommates. They are doing really, really well, and so that is something that we want students to see, is that even though in the midst of a pandemic, Hope is still able to have a really strong and vibrant community. And that's something we're really proud of. And we want to be able for you to experience campus, even though it looks really different, even though every time I walk on campus, I think, oh, there's a good amount of students, but not comparatively to what it would be a year ago, but that's okay. But still, I think it's really important for students to still see a campus if and when you can. We offer virtual tours. We are still doing all of that sort of stuff. We do virtual individual appointments with students. But again, if you can get on a campus and visit and talk to people, that is the best way to get a sense of what the differences are.
And I think that as Danae was kind of talking about the COVID, what's going on right now, I think leadership is so important. You know, our president, not your typical college president, but this is where I think Hope differentiates itself from other institutions as well. You know, they think out of the box. So our college president, well, just to let you know, typical college presidents come through academia. So they were professors, they were deans of colleges that are part of the university or whatever. They kind of moved up the ranks, all right? Typical college presidents are 62 years of age old, all right? Our college president, Matt Scogan, did not go through academia, and he's only 40 years old. He graduated from Hope College in 2002, and he basically really felt called to come back and lead Hope. So he just finished his first year, and he has high aspirations for what's going to happen at Hope. But I think we are where we are today because of his leadership and his direction and guidance. And I think our students are like, gosh, we want to stay on this campus. We want to stay in person in the classroom. We don't want to go virtual. We do not want to be sent home. We want to stay here all year because we love being on campus at Hope College. And I think that started with him. So hopefully sometime you're going to get an opportunity to meet him, hear him speak. Phenomenal young man. We look forward to what's going to happen with Hope College under his leadership. All right. Let's talk a little bit, Danae. I think hopefully maybe there's some questions in regards to a lot of times people, well, how can I afford Hope College? Private college, which most of the CTCLs are, but merit scholarship, all those types of things. So just so you know, merit scholarship this year, obviously, well, admissions wise, we're test optional, as well as for merit scholarship, we're test optional. But merit scholarship starts at a 3.2 GPA, 22 on the ACT, 1,100 on the SAT. Goes from $5,000 up to $24,000. So obviously, higher your GPA, higher standardized test score, things like that, get you in that higher range. But again, your admissions rep can really talk about specifics with you of where you fit into that range. And guys, obviously helping you make Hope College affordable to you, all right? So there are other scholarships as well that they can talk to you individually about. There's need-based aid. So based upon FAFSA, which that can be started actually tomorrow, October 1st, that can be started to be filled out. But there is need-based aid at Hope College. So based upon the finances of your family, there can be some grant money that could come from Hope College, from, again, the state of Michigan. If you're a Michigan resident, if you're not, federal government can provide some scholarship there or some grant money as well. But that's something that can go through. And so we certainly are trying to make the college affordable for you. College is expensive, doesn't matter where you go. And but there are ways to obviously lessen that cost. And certainly, as Danae talked about, she was a resident assistant. All of my kids were resident assistants. The nice thing about that is if you're in that system, if you're in a residential hall, pretty much covers your room. So right now it's about $5,000 a year. Pretty nice paycheck, I think, for the work that you're going to have to do and some great life experiences being in a position like that. So lots of ways to be able to do that. Now, two ways to apply to Hope College: Common App, or there is kind of a Hope College Slate app. So either one of those, if some of the other colleges that you're applying to use the Common App, by all means, fill out the Common App, because then you got about 90% of it done for any of those institutions. We do what's called an early notification. So November 1st is that date. And so if you apply by November 1st, we'll let you know your admission status by the week of Thanksgiving. So we send out notifications that week. All right. After November 1st, rolling application period. If you do early notification, middle of December, you find out what your merit scholarship is going to be based upon the information we currently have. Now, if you take a standardized test later on in the year, your GPA changes, goes up a little bit, you're supposed to get more merit scholarship, we'll give that to you. We send out financial aid packages, typically about the first week of February. So you should know, if you kind of keep on track with these time frames, by the middle of February, this is what it's going to cost you to be at Hope College. And now at that point, you're going to sit down and you're going to have to sit around the kitchen table, and you're going to have, Hope College, and you're going to have College X, College Y, College Z, guaranteeing that one of them is going to be the same cost. But that's where you got to figure out, where's the value come in to be at a place like Hope or be somewhere else. And certainly, as you're looking at this, I think Hope is a tremendous value in regards to what it brings to the table. Where it's going to be in that price range for you, that's where you got to find out. But that's where hopefully, again, your admissions rep can talk to you specifically about, okay, let's break this down. Let's figure out what it looks like for 4 years. What are some other options for you, other scholarships, things like that, that might be able to lessen this cost? And they'll certainly help you out with that.
Yes, for both David and I, it is our job to walk through this process with students and with families. So obviously this is overwhelming in normal circumstances for most people, let alone in the circumstances we're all living in right now. And so certainly find out who your admissions rep is at Hope. David and I are happy to connect them to you. I'm sure you have our contact information. And so really, when we look at this year, we really look towards May 1, National Decision Day. That is the day. Hopefully you are able to put whatever college it is, sweatshirt on, and really know where you're going. But that's a long time from now, and there's typically a long list of to-dos and visits and things to figure out, but really do not feel like you cannot do it without our help. It is our job to be resources to students. I always say it's my job to help showcase Hope for you to feel like it's a good fit. It is not my job to necessarily sell you Hope, because you need to know that it's the best fit for you. You have to come and experience it and love it. And hopefully it's the best fit. It is an incredible place. Obviously, David and I can talk about it forever, but that's really up to you to figure out. But we are here to walk alongside that process and make sure you are able to connect all of those dots and get all of the information you need before May 1st.
Yeah, and one of the things I like to try to, when I talk to my students, I think there's, as you're going through this process, and maybe this is kind of a good ending point for us, but I like to have students ask 3 questions, and those 3 questions: where will you be known? So the college that you choose, where will you be known the best? All right. Now, certainly any of these CTCL schools, I think you're going to be known there. So that's kind of, I'm not going to say that's even, but you could find one that you're going to be known more. But the other question I want you to ask yourself is, where are you going to thrive? So where do you think of the institution that you're going to go to that you're going to have the engagement that you need inside the classroom, but really outside the classroom, to be able to really thrive in whatever program you decide that you're going to major in, or whatever extracurricular things that you're going to do? And then thirdly, I love to ask my students, where are you going to be transformed? So where are you going to become this, from the senior in high school to the senior in college? Where are you going to be transformed? And there's lots of things that come into play with that. Again, there's things that happen in the classroom, things that happen outside the classroom, leadership opportunities. But where will you be known? Where are you going to thrive? where you're going to be transformed. And if you're looking at bigger schools, I want you to ask those questions of those as well. You know, will you be known at a bigger institution like you would at a smaller institution like Hope College? So, you know, again, ask those 3 questions. Now, when I started out, I think we kind of said our goal tonight, Danae and our goal was for you to get excited about saying, you know, I think Hope College is an option for me. And the only way, as Danae just talked about, the only way you're going to find that out is if you get on campus. So we welcome you. We encourage you to, you know, get something scheduled to come and see what Hope College is all about. I guarantee you, from a standpoint, what you see, you will love, as I mentioned that when we started. There's no doubt in my mind, you will love the college atmosphere that is on our campus. Does that mean it's the right place for you, the right fit, all those things? Yeah, maybe it is, but and maybe it's not, and that's okay as well. This is all about you figuring out what the right place is for you. And if it's Hope College, I always say, yeah, it's great. If it's not Hope College, you can say why. That's great. That means you had great conversations with somebody like myself or somebody like Danae or one of our other 14 colleagues. So, you know, we certainly just love the fact that, again, you're kind of trying to check out, is Hope the right place? But come visit. That's the only way that you're going to find out if it is the right place for you. So that's all I've got tonight. Danae, anything else to add?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you very much for the evening. Good luck in your college search. You know, ask questions, but certainly appreciate you spending the evening with us and hope this was informative to you. And we certainly hope that you'll be on campus. And if you see Danae on campus at some point, when you do come visit, make sure you stop and say, hey, I was on that CTCL call and you are why I came to visit campus. Thanks much.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Danae. Thanks to Hope College for being a part of this. Also, at the end of the day, there will be a survey when you click off of this program. Please fill it out quickly just to let us know how we're doing. If you have any questions, obviously follow up with the Hope College and come back if you want to watch it again or share this video with others. It will be available in about a week. Thanks a lot. Have a great night, everybody. Be well.